welcome back to another Heather Mac Reacts. Today we're going through some MIV whole stories, and if you like videos like this, make sure you subscribe because I post 5 times a week, every single week. Now, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get into this first MIV whole story. Okay, this says MIV whole for not attending brother's wedding. You better have a good freaking reason for not attending your brother's wedding. I cannot imagine, but let's see what the story says. I, 27 female, was asked to be at my brother's 30 male wedding last year. So you're not just an attendee, you're a part of it. Yikes. He and his fiance said I could wear a tuxedo and I agreed. Okay, so you're a girl and you wanted to wear a tuxedo. Okay. A month after they got engaged, January, they booked a venue for November. My sister told me the bridesmaids were looking at dresses, so I asked about my tux and they didn't respond at all. In March, she sent me back to America to pick out her dress. In March, she went back to America to pick out her dress, sent me photos, and started talking about the tux again. I'm no contact with my mother, father, and oldest brother, so I asked if I could bring a +1. After about 30 minutes, I told her that her silence spoke volumes, and obviously it was a no to the +1, but at least answer me about the tux. She said that she didn't respond because she was driving to Men's Warehouse, and she never saw the previous messages because her notifications don't go through on Discord. We don't talk on any other platforms because she says she can't text in Europe. They both asked me to use Messenger or WhatsApp, but I refused because of the privacy issues, so Discord it is. I patiently explained to her how to turn on her notifications and check server messages. She said yes to the +1 and told me that she hadn't started with tuxes yet because apparently she can't access Men's Warehouse abroad. I told her that this is exactly why I was trying to have this conversation early on. I'm a large-breasted woman who can't just order a tux from anywhere. She said she didn't know this, so I sent her about 5 different articles explaining this, and I suffer from gender dysmorphia, plus it takes time for a custom tux. She made more excuses. None of the bridesmaids had bought anything, and she wasn't making final decisions until her dress was picked out. Anyway, she asked if I still wanted to wear a tux or if I wanted to be in a dress. I said yes to the tux, so we picked one out together. I planned to purchase in July. Later, I started a new chat and explained to them again how notifications worked. She said that she doesn't like how I spoke to them and that I needed to have some grace when she was planning a wedding from abroad, finishing a PhD, and my brother was going through cancer treatment. Eventually, she told me it was best that I not be in the wedding and to just come as a guest since it's just causing more issues. I accidentally blocked her, but then unblocked her a minute later. But instead of speaking to me like an adult, she deleted her Discord account. My brother didn't stand up for me when she went off on me, and he put me in the same group chat as our brother, the one I'm no contact with, his best man. All I asked was that they keep my mother away from me during the wedding and allow me to have a support system since I'd be surrounded by 3 people I'm no contact with, and to not treat me like the token lesbian they can just show off at their wedding. I'm not sure anyone's trying to show you off, sweetheart. I have bent over backwards to be accommodating. When I told my brother I wasn't coming to their wedding, he yelled at me, "Am I the a-hole?" Ma'am, or gentle they, whatever you would prefer. Why are you making this entire wedding about you? She didn't answer you for 30 freaking minutes on a platform that she's not familiar with, and you're going all snark on her? Like, calm the F down. I routinely text with most of my family and friends. That's how I communicate with most of them. And we all have an unspoken agreement that, texts get answered when they can be answered. You're asking for a +1 to a wedding that's happening in a few months. I think you can wait more than 30 freaking minutes for an answer. I'll say it again, calm the fuck down. And in the words of Taylor Swift, you're being too loud. Yeah, it seems like you're making this all about you and you're very concerned with you at this wedding. And if this wedding is going to be so centered around you, maybe then you should not go. That's what I'm thinking at this point. Let's see what the Reddit comment says. You are the a-hole. It sounds like you're not reading the room very well and looking at bigger picture here. I can appreciate that you wanted to get the tux sorted, but if you're using a texting platform that people aren't super familiar with and expecting prompt replies, you're going to be shit out of luck. It also sounds like you're future sister-in-law was trying to keep you in the loop as best she could about what would be happening and in what order, as well as everything that was on her plate as a priority. You honestly sound exhausting. I would have to agree with that. I'm not sure I would want to deal with your freaking bullshit either, especially when I have so much on my plate that I don't need to also add your bullshit to it. I think you're being the a-hole. I would like to know what you all think about that one in the comments, and let's get on to the next story. This says, am I the a-hole for saying to my mom at family dinner, well, I wouldn't stay with a man who hits my kids, so I guess we have different priorities. Yikes, but like, not untrue. If I was with a man who wasn't my children's father, but even if it was my children's father and he was hitting my kids, we'd have some freaking words about that, okay? And if you're not my kid's father, keep your goddamn hands to yourself, unless you're giving them a pat on their head. A gentle, loving pat on their head. Let's see what the story says. I'm low contact with my parents because growing up, my dad was physically abusive and my mom was emotionally absent / neglectful. They are in town visiting other family members and we all decided to have a family dinner to catch up. Sounds like a horrible idea. For some background, my boyfriend will usually get me a nicer main gift for whatever holiday we're celebrating, along with 1 or 2 smaller side gifts. The side gifts are usually something like a funny t-shirt or a stuffed animal. Last year for my birthday, one of the smaller gifts my boyfriend got me was a sweatshirt from Costco. It was just a gray sweatshirt with Costco's logo printed repeatedly all over it. My boyfriend said he just saw it and thought I would like it, and he was right. I really like it and I wear it all the time. I wore the Costco sweatshirt to family dinner last night. Someone at the table complimented it and I said, thanks, my boyfriend got it for me for my birthday. My mom scrunched up her nose and loudly said, he got you a sweater from Costco for your birthday? Yeah, and my husband got me peanut M&Ms from a gas station for Christmas. Like, and if you like it, you like it. If it's a gift, it's a gift. Like, what the fuck? Who the hell asked you? I told her that wasn't the only thing he got me for my birthday, and she replied, oh, good. I would never stay with a man who gave me a sweatshirt from Costco as a gift. What if that's all he could afford and he knows you like sweatshirts? Who in the freaking hell cares where it came from? Besides your judgmental ass. I was pretty put off at that point, so I said, well, I wouldn't have stayed with a man who hits my kids, so I guess we have different priorities. I did it before and I'm gonna do it again. Really? You're so concerned that her boyfriend gave her a sweatshirt from Costco that she is perfectly happy with, but you stayed with a man who physically abused your children. I think those in glass houses should not throw stones, but clearly this bitch didn't get the memo. My mom didn't really respond at that point, and I could tell my dad was pissed. Well, it's not so nice having your dirty laundry aired out in front of everyone, but maybe you shouldn't have laundry that dirty, fuckface. They stayed pretty quiet throughout the rest of dinner. They don't like it when I bring up the fact that they used to hit us kids in front of people outside of our immediate family. Right, we talked about this last week, the sneaky snakes hiding in the dark. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, okay? My mom and dad were pretty angry at me when everyone else left though and told me there was no need to embarrass my mom at dinner. They asked me to apologize and I won't. I'm second guessing though, am I the a-hole? Yeah, I think there was a reason to embarrass your mom because she was trying to embarrass you first. Bitch, we go low contact for years because you're a bitch. And the first time you see me in however long, you have negative shit to say about my boyfriend's gift to me that I'm clearly happy with. If I'm wearing it, I like it. Get the hell out of here. No, you're not the a-hole. Fuck your mom, fuck your dad. Go no contact, okay? Low contact is too much contact. Let's see what the Reddit comments say. Not the a-hole. She tried to embarrass you in front of others by criticizing your relationship. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. She should have kept her mouth shut if she didn't want you to likewise comment on her relationship choices. Next says, seriously, OP's mom stepped on a landmine trying to throw a grenade. LOL. Yeah, like, let's say it again. Those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. If you have shit that, dirty laundry that could be aired, maybe you should keep your damn mouth shut. not the a-hole. I would like to know what you think about that one in the comments, and let's get on to the next story. This says, am I the a-hole for not wanting to take in my sister's 8-year-old daughter? Yikes. Can't imagine why you wouldn't want to give your 8-year-old niece a home. But okay, let's read the story, see if they have a good reason for that. My sister went MIA. I won't be going into detail about that. She is not involved and gave her child up to my parents. My parents have custody of my niece, and she is living with my parents, who feel as though they are getting too old, enough to the point where they can barely take care of her and attend to her needs. I have 2 children already and don't want any more children. My parents invited me over for a sit-down conversation. They explained to me how it is getting hard for them to take care of my niece due to their age, and suggested that I should take her in. I declined, as they know I have 2 children and don't plan on having more. My parents, mostly my mother, accused me of being selfish and bringing up the fact I live in a house with 4 bedrooms. She suggested that I should turn one of the bedrooms over for my niece. I told her that won't be happening, as I don't want more children and I do not want the responsibility of more kids. Wow. I suggested that they should give my niece up to foster care or try looking for the girl's mother. You mean your sister, your fucking family? My dad agreed to making the search for her mother the first priority, and if that didn't go well, they would consider putting the child into foster care. I offered to help with the search, but as I was leaving my parents, my mother asked me if I would be able to live with myself if my niece were to get put into foster care. I responded to her saying, of course I would feel bad, but more kids comes with more responsibility, and that's not something I want in my life. She proceeded to call me a selfish a-hole before walking away. I shrugged it off. Yikes. Wow, so you're going to let your family, your blood, be put into foster care where they are likely to be abused in some way. Like, let's just be freaking honest about the situation, and you're okay with that because you don't want any more responsibilities. She's not a newborn. She's on a 2-year-old. She's 8. They're pretty damn self-sufficient at that age. I'm sorry. I'm not seeing a good reason why you would say no. And personally, I could never let a family member of mine go into foster care when I had the room, the space, and she didn't say anything about money. So you just don't want to because you wouldn't really like to. That sounds horribly selfish to me, and I agree with your mom that you're being the a-hole. Let's see what the Reddit comments say. Not the a-hole, but personally, I would never be able to sleep at night knowing that because I didn't take in my niece or nephew, they are in foster care. So you're saying both you are the a-hole and you're not the a-hole. Not clearing things up, Reddit. Next says, I can definitely see that. While I feel OP has absolutely no obligation, I wouldn't hesitate for my nieces, but that's a personal decision that hopefully none of us is forced to handle. Yeah, I get it's a personal decision. I just think you're making the wrong personal decision personally. I don't see how you could let your family member go into I wouldn't let my neighbor's kid go into foster care if I had the money and the space to take care of this child. Personally, but that's me, and maybe I'm more empathetic than the OP is. I would like to know what you all think about that one in the comments, and let's get on to the next story. This says, am I the a-hole for crying too long after my boyfriend accidentally hurt me? Never heard of crying for too long before. Let's see what the story says. Me, 31 female, my boyfriend, 40 male, and I have been together for 3 years. We have our ups and downs, as with every relationship. We can both become highly emotional, with me dysregulated and crying, and him dysregulated and yelling. It's not always the best, but we typically have great communication when we are calm and take the time to sit down after, process the incident, share feelings, communicate our concerns, and create plans to move forward. We are deeply passionate for each other and are quite in love. Sounds like a lot of defense before we even get into the story. Red flag in my opinion. On New Year's Eve, I accidentally burned my breast with a sparkler, a pretty good sized burn, 2nd degree. Let me just stop you right there because I've burned my boob before. One time in high school, I was wearing a tank top and I was straightening the front of my hair, a bang or something, and I came right down onto my boob. That shit hurt, okay? I don't think it was a second-degree burn, so I can't imagine if it was even worse burn than what I did to myself. He bandaged me up. He was an Army medic and has been taking good care of helping me take care of it and rebandaging it for me, etc. Tonight we were sitting together, chilled, no issues, having a good night. He recently bought smelling salts and thought it would be funny to try to make me smell it, or at least tease me about it and pretend to do it. In the process of lunging toward me in jest to try to make me smell it, he completely fucked around and tore off my healing scab. Oh, yikes. I didn't have it covered for a moment as I was letting it air out after I had a shower. Needless to say, I got pretty upset and began to cry. In the moment, all I could think about is how much it physically hurt, how shocked I was that it was happening, how frustrated and upset I was about how careless he was to do that, and worried about scarring. He immediately apologized and said he didn't mean to. He went to get bandages to redo it. I was still crying after a couple minutes. Apparently, this was a couple minutes too long. He became hostile and began to yell at me to stop crying and that I was acting like a baby. He raised his voice and screamed at me. Have y'all ever in your wildest dreams thought that screaming at someone who was crying was going to make them stop fucking crying? Just never imagined that would be the way, the truth, or the light. The fuck? Again, this took place in 3 minutes tops. I was not crying for hours or something ridiculous, maybe for 3 to 4 minutes. Yeah, I see why you spent so much fucking time defending this asshole in the beginning, because you know he's a dick. I became extremely upset for him yelling at me, so I went silent and ignored him for a bit. After, he said again that he was sorry for what happened and that he said he was sorry, but I was acting like a child crying for so long, and we all know what it feels like to have a scab ripped off, and I was being dramatic. I said that I was allowed to feel my feelings, all the ones listed above. I explained to him, nervous, physically hurt, worried, etc. He then got annoyed and basically said, fuck you, and I said, it's crazy how I am the one who got hurt, and yet I'm the one being yelled at like I did something wrong. And I didn't even yell at him for what he did. I just cried for a measly 3 minutes. Now we are sitting in silent anger. Maybe I'm the a-hole because in the end, he was probably just angry with himself about hurting me, and the crying that I was doing was making him feel more guilty. I don't know, Reddit, am I the a-hole? I'm gonna try to hold it together. So you're telling me that maybe you're the a-hole for making him feel like an a-hole? Are you fucking kidding me? So he fucked around and hurt you badly. Burns fucking hurt, okay? Burns hurt worse than cuts in a lot of instances, okay? Burns are miserable. So he ripped the scab off your second-degree burn and you cried for even, let's go ahead and say it was 5 fucking minutes. And now you're worried that you angered him because he was already feeling bad about it. He should fucking feel bad. He was the asshole who was fucking around like a child. He's 40 years old, fucking around like a child, hurt you, and then decided to scream at you and call you a baby. Yo, fuck him. And I told y'all when I read that first damn paragraph that it was raising red flags because you spent so much time defending him and defending your relationship when you know it's fucked up. Ooh, I'm mad. I'm gonna bring out the heart rate monitor, y'all. You know this is a fucked up relationship. You know he is not a good person, and that's why you spent so much fucking time defending him, because you know it's a bunch of bullshit. Yeah, my heart rate's at 123. It's supposed to be under 100. I am freaking heated. No, you are absolutely not the a-hole, but you are the a-hole for continuing to be in this relationship with a toxic asshole like this. Let's read the comments. Not the a-hole. You acknowledged that it was an accident and didn't blame him, so there's no reason for him to get defensive. If you're in pain, you have every right to cry and he shouldn't be angry. It seems like a toxic attitude from your boyfriend to try to control your emotions so he doesn't feel bad about accidentally hurting you, and making you feel guilty is even worse. Also, dysregulated yelling. What the hell is that? Is it an excuse to yell at you, treat you poorly, and not take responsibility for it? Oh, so y'all are seeing the red flags beginning of the story as well? Glad I'm not alone. Next says, and then she dysregulatedly cries. LOL. Does he tell OP to regulate her crying? That's pretty weird. Don't want to throw out words like controlling or gaslighting because I'm not thinking about it too hard, but that's what it's sounding like to me. Yeah, you know what, y'all? We don't need big words like controlling and gaslighting. We can just call it fucking toxic. He's an asshole. You know he's an asshole. You're clinging to any tiny little itsy bitsy strand of good there is in this man because you know most of it is fucked up and bad. Let me know what you think about that one in the comments. Don't forget, we have a playlist of over 225 MIV whole videos up here that you can binge. Please don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!